Hello, welcome back to the Manifest Her podcast. Today we are talking about finishing our year, how we end a year, start a year, all of that, and then catching up on our last week, which was Christmas. So we have tons to talk about, and mindset, as long as we don't talk too much and run out of time to talk about mindset again. How was your week?
Long. Chock
Yeah.
full of things. I did all the things. I traveled, went on a road trip, went on a swamp tour.
Yes, I'm so excited to hear about all of it. I saw your video of the swamp tour and it reminded me of what's that movie called? The Princess and the Frog. It was so cute. Like it made me I think I'm going to watch that movie tonight and get all excited about the fact cuz aren't they in New Orleans in that movie?
So I was gonna say, yeah, aren't they? That's the one that's based in New Orleans, I think, or
Yeah,
at
I
least
think it is.
Louisiana.
Yeah. I am for sure going to watch that today. I'm pretty sure my kids like that movie, so I think they'll watch it with me. But I haven't
Oh,
watched it in so long. But watching your video, I was like, oh, I want to watch it. Makes me excited to go visit you. Yes, tell me about all the things. How was your Christmas first?
Christmas was amazing, super peaceful. Jensen loved his gift. Like
Yeah, I bet.
it was so
Going on
good.
a cruise. And he hasn't been on one, right? His first one.
No, he's never been, so it'll
Oh,
be his first time. And I did it like I wrapped up an ornament because we do this thing with Christmas ornaments. So it's like wherever we've been, it's based on our experiences. We'll try to get an ornament to match, and then that's how we add new ornaments to our
oh,
tree
love
every
that.
year. So I just bought him the ornament, and then it was like a Carnival cruise ship, and I had him open it last. You always do the big gifts last.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's cute. Like, he,
Like,
it's just like this ornament.
wow!
Yeah. Yay. Just what I always wanted.
A cruise ship that I've never been on. Cool.
Right. So you could see him like confused and like trying to appreciate it, but he's like, okay.
I
Because
could
I saved
totally
it all
picture it
last.
because he would want you to be happy and feel like you did a good job. I can see it. I love that
He
so
was.
much.
He's like, oh, you can see him like, it's cute. And
He's
I'm
so
like,
supportive.
okay, like I had to prompt him because he wasn't getting it. I'm like, babe, how do we do ornaments, And he's like, what? I don't know. And I'm like, come on. He's like, based on experiences. And I was like, okay, so. And he's like, you did not. And I'm like,
Oh,
so shocked. He almost cried. Like he got so choked up.
oh, I love
Yeah,
that
he's
so
like, no,
much.
you didn't.
Oh, you two
Well, we
are my
gotta do it
favorite.
though. Yeah.
Just so much, just the way that like we live in so much gratitude and the fact that he is that way. I love you guys together. And thinking about like I know I've told you this a million times, but I'm just gonna tell you again. The way that your home was always so peaceful and like you walk in and like the energy is just so calm. It's like my favorite place to be. And for you to be able to live with him and have that same energy, like he is just like you guys are perfect. It makes me really, really happy. It gives me so much hope. But
Oh,
continue.
thanks. How's your tea?
Good. I started
Can you
drinking it
hear
this
me?
time without talking about it. Yeah, can you hear me? It's like delayed, I feel like.
Yeah,
I don't know why. The internet is like
it is.
being slow. Well, it is what
Yeah.
it is. Um so I started making it because last time it was cold by the time I tried it, and I'm like, I need to try it hot, so I've been drinking it. Brianna, my friend, she recommended this throat coat tea, and I was
Hmm.
smelling it before start putting it in here, and it smells so good. And I've never liked the smell of tea, so I had like very high expectations. And that was my first tip. It is so good. It's the first tea I've ever liked. So I know she's gonna watch this. Thank you for your recommendation. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. It's
Yay.
eucalyptus. It's throat coat eucalyptus. It smells so good. Mm. But
I love
continue the
eucalyptus.
rest of your Christmas. Oh, this is so good.
Eucalyptus is a vibe. My jam. And then what else? I think that's
Yes,
really
it
it. And then we
is.
just been spending time with his dad. And for the New Year's Eve, they do it's like the ball drop in Times Square, but it's a fleur de lis because it's here. So they do a big fleur de lis drop going into the new year. So we're getting ready to go to that probably
What's a fleur de lis?
tomorrow. You don't know the fleur de lis? It's the flower.
Mm-mm.
It's like the symbol of the Saints. You know the Saints logo, the football team
Oh
logo.
yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
the fleur de lis.
Oh,
So
I
it's
didn't
like
know
a
that
French
had a
thing.
name.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's big down here. You'll see
Hmm.
fleur de lis everywhere. It, like, represents Louisiana, the fleur de lis.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah,
represented the Saints.
no.
I had no idea.
The Saints just use it because it represents Louisiana.
Got it. Learn something new every day. Thank you, Nikki, for my knowledge of the day.
Yeah, so it's like the flower looking
Yeah,
thing.
that's
I mean,
cool.
fleur de lis means flower, so
So
it's
you
a
have to tell
giant
me again. So
flower.
they lit it up, like instead of what? Yeah. Now that I understand it, you have to say that again.
So yeah, their symbol, the fleur de lis, which is they just have a giant fleur de lis because that's the
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana thing. Everything you see it on houses everywhere. So here they do a fleur de lis drop. It's a giant fleur de
Oh,
lis
drop.
instead of the ball that drops in Times
Oh,
Square.
okay.
It's a giant fleur de lis that drops here.
Okay. Got it. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
it is super cool. So I'm
I
really
love that.
excited. Guess they had to stop for a couple years because of COVID, but
Hmm. But they're doing it.
it's
So is
back
that? Are you guys
on.
going to see that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that'll
Yeah.
be so fun.
So that'll be
What a cool
tomorrow.
experience.
Because tomorrow's New Year's Eve already.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I
So
am
very
not a
excited.
fan of New Year's. I like it when I'm not single, but ever since I've been single, it's like the only day of the entire year that it's hard for me. Like Valentine's
Is
Day
it?
doesn't even like touch how I feel. I don't care at all. But when there's like a designated moment where everyone stops and kisses, I'm like, this is the worst thing.
Oh, you're like,
I don't want to be here. So I don't go to New Year's parties anymore. I stay home.
yeah. I can
Um,
see that. That would be like, you never
yeah.
did the kiss a stranger? Stranger at midnight?
Can you see me doing that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's exciting.
Not for me, it's not. Sounds gross. Get away from me. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Yeah, that would make it even worse for me. I would hate that. But
Oh.
it's fine. I like try to do something special for myself at home. I like do a lot of like planning my year. I do like a lot of things for myself, but I always try to not have my kids because I'm not doing
Mm.
anything fun. It's not exciting. Um but their dad, I think I told you last week he ended up not getting them. And this he was supposed to take them for like 10 days and he didn't take them for
Mm-hmm.
the whole week because they were sick and then he hasn't seen them for Christmas still. And now
Mm.
he's not picking them up this weekend. They're supposed to be with him until Wednesday. And so now they're not going at all. They're staying with me, which, like,
Mm.
it's just so frustrating. I love them being home so much, but I didn't plan on having to buy, like, because they're out of school. So I have to buy extra groceries for 3 meals a day, plus all the snacks they eat, plus, like, for a whole extra 10 or 11 days, however long it was. And right after Christmas, I wasn't planning for it. So I had to do this
Mm.
huge grocery order yesterday, which I'm actually excited. We have tons of delicious snacks. We get to enjoy our weekend, but I'm just like frustrated. So anyway, so I planned, like, I asked them what they want. So I got steaks and mashed potatoes and asparagus, and I got shrimp cocktail for like an appetizer, and I got cheesecake from
Ooh.
Costco. I got them some of the sparkling cider, and I'm
Cute.
gonna go get myself some wine. But so I'm just trying to have a good night. Maybe it'll
That'll
be
be
better with my kids
nice.
home.
That
We'll
sounds
see.
really cute. Y'all got a fancy dinner, 4 course.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
gonna be
It'll
elegant.
be fun. I always try when I have them, I like put a lot of effort and I do things and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So that'll
So
be
how did they
good.
like their Christmas gifts? How did all the things come out?
So good. It was so fun. Haley was not about trying that Fear Factor stuff. She was like, I'm not putting
No?
anything in my mouth. She tried the like super sour thing. That was it. She would not taste another thing. And I
Ah!
offered, I said they get $20 if they win, because each thing was worth points, and they get an extra $10 if they just try everything. So even if she didn't win, if she just tasted everything, then she would have got $10. And the money
Yeah.
was not a motivation for her. She was like, no way. But all of the like things that were not food, like doing trust falls and like stuff like that, she did all of that, but she would not.
Okay.
But Addison ate everything. So she ate
What?
2 crickets because she wanted to try 2 different flavors, but she wouldn't swallow it. That was her, like, she wouldn't touch it. So she used a fork to do it, but she wouldn't swallow it. And I made her do 6 chews. So she chewed it 6 times and then spit it out. And
Okay.
I was like, that's fine. That's
Okay.
disgusting. It was so
She
funny
is
because
brave.
she just wants, like, she's all about experiences. Like, she wants to be able to say that she did it and then
Oh.
move on. Never do it again.
Oh.
So I knew she would do it. I thought Haley would for the money, but nope. But there was something I was gonna say that was so they one of the things was because Addison is very shy and she has a hard time like coming out of her shell, talking to people. Like even when we get around like our extended family, she's like quiet for a bit until she feels more comfortable again. So for her, like to challenge her, I said that one of them was to go live on TikTok and sing the national anthem. So they both did it and it was super funny. There was like 270 people that watched Haley and I didn't think there would be her like I thought that maybe on 5 on Christmas, you know. But and then for Addison there was like 100, but after their live, Niki, I got a bunch of messages from men saying that they loved my live and that they wanted to be friends. I never get messages from random people like
Mm,
that on TikTok, but when my kids go live, all the men are
mm,
messaging them. I
mm,
was so disgusted. So disgusted.
mm.
And they were literally live for 1 minute each. It was not even a long thing.
Oh
And
my
I was just
goodness.
like, that's disgusting. I could not even. So
Wow.
people that have their kids on social media, like I don't allow it and I am not going to allow it until they're older. They just can't. I let Haley have TikTok because she likes to scroll through it, but I
Mm,
won't let her, like, it's private. She can't get messages and I check it all the time to make sure she doesn't change it. And I'm
mm-hmm.
just, it's awful. So that sucked, but other than that, it was good. They're really excited about the concert. We've been listening to Melanie Martinez nonstop, which is good because I didn't like her at all. I was not excited for this concert, but now I'm excited. It's a good vibe. It'll be fun.
Okay.
And what else did they get? Yeah, they knew they would be getting Lagoon stuff. They asked for that to be their big gift every Christmas.
Okay.
Um, and for the Broadway show, I did get our tickets, so we're officially
Mm-hmm.
going to 6. Um, but I didn't tell them because I still want that part to be a surprise. So I told them there's one other gift, and it's like a fancy date night that they're gonna get super
Mm-hmm.
ready for. But I'm not telling them that we're going until we get there and they see it. So it was good.
Okay. That's a vibe. That's cute. Just gives them an idea, but they still have that element of surprise. I love
Yeah,
that. I think that's gonna be fun.
it was fun. They loved it. We had a really good day. So, but it was like that was part of my frustration because their dad was supposed to pick him up at noon, so I didn't plan anything for Christmas. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then he didn't pick him up, so I had nothing. I didn't have a Christmas dinner. I didn't have like because I didn't expect them to be home, and so we just had like whatever dinner was in the fridge, you know, and. I don't know. I feel like I should be fine with that because not everything has to be a big deal, but I just make everything a big deal and make it fancy and make it mean something. So I would have put in more effort if, you know. But
I do.
so then, what did you get for Christmas? Well, tell me about the rest of your Christmas.
What did I get? I got a bunch of. I got like a hair. You know, I always got my long hair or braids or something. And so a lot of the shower caps and bonnets that they make are regular. So he found me like a really long shower cap. I'm like, that. Because I'm
That
always trying to
is.
put all these braids up and put it in
Yeah.
this regular shower cap that doesn't fit.
Yeah, I hate putting my hair in shower caps. I'm like shoving it up this inside. Like
Yeah.
it's so hard.
So he found this long one. I'm like, that's freaking cool. Because I'm getting my
Yeah.
hair done for the cruise too, so that'll be perfect.
Ooh, what are you gonna do? Like braids?
Probably braids.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love braids. And there's a really good shop here. They're just kind of pricey, but it'll be worth it for the
it will
cruise.
be. You'll
Always,
love it. I'm
and
so
I get my
excited for
nails and I do
you.
all the things. But he got me that. I'm doing like my healthy stuff now. So he got me some healthy things I asked for, like a shaker bottle,
Mm.
stuff like that. I have this list. It's called a perpetual wish list.
Ooh.
It's something that my ex and I actually came up with many years ago, but it was so useful. So I still use it to this day where you just have a list of things, all price ranges that you might ever want. And if you give that to your partner or your kids or whomever, like they can literally just kind of always pick off of there, and you still get the element of
Ooh,
surprise, and they know that they're getting you something you want,
I
you
love
know?
that.
So I introduced him to the perpetual wish list. Again, I'm pretty sure I've showed him before, but he was struggling.
Sometimes you got
So
to
I
show them
got
a
a bunch
couple
of things
times.
on my little list. Well, you gotta show him. He was like, babe, I don't know what to get. So I sent him one of those, and he was just checking it off. He got me a bunch of stuff, like for my workshops, a bunch of stuff that I needed. Because Melanie's workshop, you need like cardboard and all these different things. So it was fun. He hooked it
Yeah.
up, a bunch of little
Ooh, did
gifts.
she
I guess
send
I
you a
got a
list of
gift
what
for
you
the
need?
guys today. Yeah, like a big cardboard. I don't know if we're gonna do a dream board. I'm guessing. So like a
Ooh.
giant cardboard, some scented candles, notebook, post-its of like different colors and sizes, and she's like, tissues, there's gonna be tears.
Oh, you should send me
So
the
yeah, it's like a
list
little,
so I can have all the things.
I'll send it to you. I got you. So I
Yeah.
feel nice and prepared, and I changed my desk area around. So my desk, you never saw it, but it sits like under the window up front in the living room. I just changed the energy, which it feels good because that's where I
Good.
was working from, and I'm just like, let's change the whole energy. I'm not doing what I used to do, and I just kind of turned it and made it more look like an office because it's just in the living room. So I just
Mm,
like switched it up, set it up different, got all my stuff ready. Oh, he bought me like a business candle. So I'm like, ooh,
love
got all my
that.
stuff on my desk. I'm ready.
I love that.
Yes. And he got me this dream interpretation book. I don't know. I think our first episode, or if it wasn't on the episode, I know I told you like that week. But remember, I was having these crazy dreams. Does that ring a
Yeah.
bell?
Yeah, it
Like
wasn't on
one,
the
I got
episode. It
really
was before.
powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was talking about it on here or not, but I was having these crazy dreams just like a week or two ago. And I feel like I'm one where messages come to me a lot in my dreams, like my loved ones, and things like that that pass away. It's always been in my dream, premonitions, whatever it is. So I do definitely believe in like the meaning of dreams. And so I was telling him about it, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of out of practice. I haven't really studied dreams in a while, and I don't know what these dreams mean. So he got me a nice dream,
Oh, I
whole
love
encyclopedia.
that. I love that. I love that it was just a
Yeah,
couple weeks ago that you were talking about trying to like understand all those things and having everything come through and stuff. And for you to like that quickly get something that like helps you with that, I love.
he's so in tune with my spirit. That's one of the
He
things that I
is.
love. Like everything he tried to get, he really, like I said, he'll get it so it can help me. And
Yeah.
so he got me this room that I sit in is actually where we meditate. So this is meditation room, and we got a
I
little
love that.
corner back over there, and I got my altar kind of working and things like that. So he bought me this light that projects like the stars and the galaxies and all that
Ooh.
on the wall. So I'm like, oh, let's go in the meditation room, and it's so dreamy. It's just like next level when you meditate.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
love that.
so pretty.
That's
Yeah.
literally my dream. Like to have, because I don't have any desire really to be in a relationship because I am so focused on myself and I'm so happy and I have my kids and I'm just not interested in it. But in some ways, I'm like, if I had someone to like sit and do stuff like that with who like really actually saw me and cared about like making my life better and like me growing as much as I care about me growing and me caring about them growing, like that's a
Yes.
freaking dream. And I just have
Yes.
not even experienced anything close to that.
Yes. It's
I
a
mean, I guess a
different
little bit.
level. It's a
Yeah.
different level, yeah, having somebody that's so in alignment and you believe in the same things, and he actually, like you said, wants the best. Everything he does, he's paying attention. One of the things I
Mm-hmm.
told Jensen, I'm like, you just listen all the time. You might don't know you're listening. And a lot of
Yeah.
that listening is like concern for my soul, my mental health, my physical, all the things. But he cares about my soul. If I'm doing bad, that man will bust out the crystals himself. He'd be like, lay
Mm-hmm.
down. He'll give me a whole crystal bath and surround me with crystals and music and sage. Like he'll work it up out of me. Oh, you ain't doing
Girl.
good? We getting rid of this right now.
Oh, that is my dream. Holy cow. I would freaking get married to someone like that so quick. I am not letting you go ever. That's amazing.
Seriously. Especially when there's people that aren't aligned,
Yeah.
and
And we've
it's like,
experienced that
okay,
so much.
yeah, there's people that I've been with that weren't aligned and it wasn't like that. And it's like night and day,
It
you
is.
know?
It affects our energy so much. And it's
Yeah,
just, I love it.
yeah.
That's so awesome.
And my
But
kids are
I
all
can't.
in PA. They all went
Oh, I
home.
saw that. Are they having fun?
Yeah. So they all went to see their dad. Steph and Addie went to see Steph's dad, his side of the family. Sante actually moved to PA. But he got up there at the same time. So I guess John, my exes, they had Sante over
Oh,
too. They told me for dinner. So I thought that was pretty nice that they had him over because I don't know how much they really talked to him or anything, but guess they gave him some gifts, gave him like a bike and stuff. So I thought that was pretty nice. I was
wow.
excited to hear that. Yeah.
That is nice. I'm very happy to know that he moved out there. Is he staying with your brother?
Mhm. Yep.
Cool. I
Yeah.
love that for him. I think that'll be really good. And I'm glad he has a bike and he can, like, that's all, that sounds so good for him.
Well, especially it's a small town. Like growing up there, we walked or we biked. If you got money, you could take the bus. Most of the time you don't, or the bus route don't go where you're going or something. So like majority of the time we were walking or biking. Like it's a small enough town. It's not giant like Salt Lake or anything like
Right.
that. So you can get around really easy. Like a bike can go really far. I thought that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that'll be really good for him. Sometimes we just need to change and get
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. And I think that's just where he's at. I'm happy for him.
Change in pace, fresh. Right
Mm-hmm.
before the new year, he can start anew, do something else. He's so young, no kids.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not take advantage and do something like that? Nothing's tying you to Salt Lake. Gone, you know.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. And then what else did you do? After Christmas was so you went on the road trip, right?
hmm
How was that?
So, his family, I think I said on the last episode, founded a city, Morgan City here.
Yeah.
His great great granddad, triple great, double great, one of his great granddads founded a city here in Louisiana. And so we went on a road trip. We went up to Lafayette. We went to Baton Rouge, which I've never been to either
Mm,
one of those.
really?
And that was super fun. Yeah. We went to
That's
see
cool.
like a Tabasco plant, the swamp tour. We just drove up. It wasn't too crazy long, just a mini road trip. We stayed one night, drove back, did some activities, stopped at some good places to eat. Ooh, we was eating really good.
Oh, I can't wait to try the food there.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. I had gator bites. Can you believe it?
I cannot. I don't. I think I would try them, but that's crazy. Were they good?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can't
it was
believe
so
you
good.
tried them though. You are a picky. I'm very surprised.
Yes, me, like me. Anybody
Yes.
that know me, no. That's a big feat.
Yeah.
I'm very proud because, and they couldn't look weird or nothing. They looked regular, like little chicken
Yeah.
bites. So I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I'll just pretend that it's chicken. They actually taste a lot like chicken. I know people say that, and that's real. Like the other foods taste like chicken and other animals. They're always like,
Yeah.
it tastes like chicken.
I've heard that a lot, but I've never tasted something that tasted like chicken. That's funny. I haven't tried that many like crazy things.
Yeah, and then they tried to
Cool.
get me to try frog legs. Too far. I'm not going that far.
Do they look like frog legs?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
fried.
Mm-mm.
They looked a little bit like tenders, but mostly like legs, like little
Mm,
mini, just fried frog
absolutely
legs.
not.
Especially when they bit into them, girl. I was just watching them eat them. Like,
Yeah. I can't do that. If it looks like an animal, that's my line. Like octopus, it
yeah,
looks like an octopus. That's disgusting. I cannot.
mm-mm. It can't. No, me neither. If it has the tentacles, like
Yeah.
I'll eat the calamari and stuff, but if it looks, some restaurants you have little baby
Yeah.
calamari with the tentacles, like
Yes.
fried up.
That's what
I'm
I
not
can't
eating.
do. No. Get that off of my table. I don't even want it touching the table that is touching my plate, that is touching my food. I want that all the way gone.
Yes, quickly.
Yes. I don't even want you to talk about it while I'm eating my food. I don't want to hear that. I can't.
Not the vibe.
Mm-mm.
No, I can be adventurous if it don't look like what it is.
Yes, exactly. Let me trick my mind a little bit, and then I can figure it out.
And then they were trying to get me to try turtle soup.
Turtles are cute. See, these are just a little, they're steps too far.
It's too far. You can't.
Yeah.
And I saw the turtles in the bayou. Now you want me to go eat the turtles? We was just
Right
looking at them
after?
out in the
No
Let me go
way,
eat these
because I know you were looking at those turtles and being like, "Look how cute! Look at how they're just living out in their wild, living their best life. It's so cute." And then you're supposed to eat it? No, girl, I cannot believe
No.
people do that there. Like, I can see them selling turtle stuff here. We don't see turtles just crawling around, you know.
Right.
But there, no, absolutely not.
Not a vibe. Not a
No.
vibe. I couldn't do it, Brittany. But I got as
Mm-mm.
far as the gator bites, and I am proud. And it
Good
was
job.
actually tasty. So I'm like,
Cool. Proud
yay.
of you.
But sleeping at night, I don't know. Like, did your ex snore, or have you ever been with a man that like
Yeah.
snores?
Yeah.
Girl, we had one hotel room. Him and his dad were snoring. And I wake up all night. I'm a light sleeper.
No.
I'm a light sleeper. I'm up. If I'm not peeing, I just sleep light. And so I got up. And sure enough, I could not get back to sleep. Snoring over here, snoring over here. Accented by some farts. Couple fart, more snoring. Oh my God, is this how men sleep? A symphony of farts and snores? What world? Save me. Women are not like
Oh
this.
my gosh. That is so funny. I snore, and it is my biggest, like, what's the word? Insecurity. Because
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't want to sleep. I do not sleep with men. Like,
Yeah.
ever. Like, the person that I was dating for, or off and on, for 5 years, never once have I slept at his house or him at mine.
You
I've
didn't want
never
him to
slept
hear
with
that?
him. No. And I mean, also part of that is that he's a full-time dad. He has his kid 24/7. So it's like harder logistically. I think I probably would have, but no one else, like, no one else gets me to that point. But I've slept with one person. I think since my divorce, I've slept with one person because he made me feel safe enough to. But it's like, I don't do that. So I'm like very insecure about my snoring, dude. Because other people, I'm a super deep sleeper. So if someone else is snoring, as long as I'm asleep first, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if I can't sleep and I'm hearing snoring, like, I cannot fall asleep, which makes me feel so
I
bad.
don't think you snored when we were together. I
Yeah.
don't remember when we went to Mexico, unless I was asleep before you or something. But again, I'm a
No,
light sleeper.
I went to bed
so I
before
feel
you a
like
lot. That makes me feel better. I feel like sometimes it's worse than others. Like, if I'm sick, I'm snoring like badly. But if I'm not sick, sometimes it's not. I don't know. Sometimes my kids are like, "You don't snore that much," and then sometimes they're like, "You sound like a freaking lion." So like, I think it just depends. But I just don't want to mess up someone else's sleep, so it makes me really insecure.
Yeah, it's not the vibe. I was like, oh my gosh, help me, please. I swear I was up like all night. I could not. It's a small hotel room. Like, think how small.
Yeah.
And
That would
no
be so
white
hard for
noise.
me. Yeah.
Nothing
Oh,
to
that's
like,
worse. I can't sleep
yeah,
other places, especially. Like, I don't even sleep like at your house. I drive home
yeah,
no matter how late it is. I don't
it's
like, and
hard.
that's not because of snoring, but just because I can't sleep other places. But the one person that I have slept with, I slept at his house better than I've ever slept at someone else's house in my life. I slept in, Nikki, until 11 o'clock, which
Ooh,
sometimes I
that
do
is
that at home
late.
if I have been up all night, and we were up all night. But
Mhm.
I've never been like comfortable enough, like, because I'm like awake and asleep constantly when I'm not home. And the
Yeah,
fact that I like slept deeply enough that I actually slept until 11, I was like mind blown.
shocking.
I could not
Yeah.
believe. It's crazy.
I'm
It's
kind of like
crazy.
that too, though. Like, I can't sleep other places. Same thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I try not to spend the night at my friend's house if at all possible, you know.
Yeah.
And if not, like, if we're on vacation or something, I'll try to take like some sleeping. They have ZQL and stuff that you can
Yeah.
take. Girl, I was taking that ZQL. It wasn't working. Not that.
I like play white noise on my phone and just leave my phone playing noise all night. So I'm like, I cannot sleep if it's just silent.
Somewhere weird too. And like I have a fan. The fan to me is really comforting
Yeah,
between
me
the white
too.
noise and also the air, like the breeze. I literally run it all year,
Me
winter,
too.
So I didn't have a fan. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's nothing to like.
Yeah. Oh, you poor thing.
No. I finally put in, I did have my earbuds, and after many hours, it dawned on me just put your earbuds in. I guess I thought they were going to stop or something too, so I was waiting it
Yeah.
out. But after so many hours, you're like,
Oh, maybe it's safe. Maybe I can allow myself to fall asleep now. That's
and
hilarious.
so I put in those earbuds. That was the only way. I swear I probably would have been up. So when you texted me this morning, like, you're tired, I'm like, girl, I know I literally didn't sleep the night before.
Oh,
So I understood. And then last night I got
I'm
to sleep
so
because we got
glad.
home. But like, I was so tired and you can't sleep in the car. And plus, we kept stopping to do stuff. So it's like, I didn't get to sleep all day. I didn't sleep all night. So I crashed when we got home yesterday.
Yeah.
So tired.
That's how I'm gonna be tonight. I was so glad that you didn't have plans after because I woke up. I set my alarm for 11, and because I
Mm-hmm.
knew how tired I was, I could not sleep last night. Nikki, I was reading my book until 2 in the morning, and then I was like,
Oh,
I have like 50 pages left. Did you know how like that last 50 pages, like you just want to keep reading? But I was like, I
yeah.
can't. I have to get up. So I put my book down, forced myself. It was so hard for me. And then I tried to sleep and I laid there wide eyed, staring at my ceiling until 5 in the morning. And I was like, I could
Girl.
have finished my book. I've been laying here staring at this ceiling. I was so mad. And then the more I kept thinking about the fact that I could have finished my book, I was like, maybe I should just read my book. I'm obviously wide awake thinking about the fact that I didn't read my book. I was just so freaking tired, dude. And then, like, when my alarm went off at 11, it felt like it was 5 in the morning. I was like, oh my gosh,
Ooh.
I am so tired. I didn't go back to
Yeah.
sleep, but I at least, like, got to lay there and, like, rest for a little bit. But,
Yeah.
oh, I
Slowly
hate
get up.
nights when you can't sleep is the worst.
The word. And I just feel like it carries over so
Mm-hmm.
much. So like yeah, yesterday it bled into today with us traveling. I'm like, I'm still kind of dragging today,
Yeah.
but it's all right. And then we got to go out tomorrow. I got to have energy again. So I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, holidays are a lot of energy.
They are. We gotta get through the rest of our week. So I like super spoiled myself this week. I like have had the best week because I gave my kids money for Christmas. Like instead of stocking stuffers and like all the extra little things I get them, they would just wanted money so we could go shop. So we went to the Cheesecake Factory, which they've never been to before. And then we went to a crystal shop and got a bunch of crystals. Haley spent like $70 on crystals. And I was like, it's her favorite place ever. So
Good.
love that. I
That's
got
good.
some for myself. And then we went to Bath and Body Works and I got two 3-wick candles, two things of soap, one of the car scent things, and then one of the scents that like smell your room, the wallflowers, with the
Mm-hmm.
plug-in. All of those things. Like one 3-wick candle is usually $30. Like I got
Yeah,
all of
they're
those things
expensive.
for $32.
Hell yeah, I
Because they
love
have,
their sales. I love their
yeah,
sales.
right after Christmas, I'm always going. It was 75% off. It was so good. So this lag is making me
They had
crazy.
the
I'm
best
really
sale. I used to
hopeful.
go there and just get all my gifts.
Yeah, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so anyway, so we did all of that, and then the girls bought just tons of stuff. I bought this new mug to taste my tea, so I don't have to use Haley's. It says snuggle season. I don't have anyone to
Cute.
snuggle, but it's the cutest one that they had. I didn't want to spend like a lot on a mug, so I went to Five Below, and that was my favorite one they had.
It's
So yeah,
cute. I like
it
it.
was good. It was a good week.
You snuggle your
Other than,
blanket. You snuggle
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, I do. I did think about that. I was like, I do like stay in my blanket. Makes me happy.
Yes.
But I also had a hard week, which I like contemplated if I wanted to talk about this on the podcast or if I just wanted to talk to you about it. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's like the point of why we're doing a podcast because we end up having good conversations. And I feel like that's what this leads to. So I'm gonna be a little bit vulnerable. Um, so I had a hard week just with myself and feeling like I was enough and I was doing the right things. And I just have had like a lot of anger the last couple weeks about some things that have made me feel not like myself. I don't feel angry hardly ever. Like I don't even get mad at my kids. Like if I'm mad at my kids, I don't get to the point where I'm like feeling anger. It's like in a moment, we have a conversation, we work through it. But I've been feeling really bad. And then yesterday, I was just like, one of our posts that was on TikTok ended up on like the man side of TikTok. And so there were a few men making comments of just like how me and you just don't know what men are actually looking for. Like when we were talking about how men don't support us and they don't want women to be better than them and things like that. And they're just like, they're going to get butthurt about it. The type of men that we're talking about are going to get butthurt about it. The type of men who we're looking for would support that and be like, yeah, you deserve to be treated like that, So I have to make that in my mind.
Exactly.
Like, these are the type of men that I'm not interested in. I don't care about how they feel. I have to like remind myself of that. But it still is like, when you first start a new page and you're starting from scratch, it takes a while for the algorithm to find the right people. So to have it be
Mm-hmm.
like the negative people, I'm like, oh, I don't want to post because I don't want it to keep getting to them. But I experienced this with my other page because my TikTok has over 5,000 followers, and so now I don't get to those people. I don't get like comments like that ever. But in the beginning, I did, and it's just a process, and I like have to keep reminding myself it's the process. But then like I just kept spiraling, and I was like seeing all of the pictures of like I have so many friends that are like with a bunch of friends all the time and like going out all the time. And I'm like, am I doing the right thing spending so much time alone and with myself and trying to grow when I'm not experiencing like these friendships? Like they have so many people that are really close friends with them. And I have a few people that I'm very close to that I appreciate so much, but it's not like you are out of town. Like I don't see people a lot. I'm like with my kids or by myself. And so I was like really questioning, like, should I be not focusing so much on all of these things and like put my focus on relationships? But it's just the relationships that don't fill me up. They don't make me feel the same. It's not like I make myself feel so much better than I feel like being around all of those people can make me feel. But it
Mm-hmm.
was still like it was a really hard day for me. And then I opened up, I'm going to find it. Melanie Ann Layer made a post yesterday. I saw the post in the morning before I was having all of these thoughts and stuff. And I thought, oh, that's a nice thing. Like I didn't think anything of it, but then I saw it on her story when I was in the middle of thinking all of that. And it just like hit me like so intensely. And it was so crazy because in the same day, I saw the same post. And one time it was so profound to me, and the other time it was nothing. And it just shows how much like if you're in the right mindset, like and you need something at that moment, it changes how you receive things that you're watching. So
Mm-hmm.
it says there are more people watching you in secret than people liking and commenting on your social media. I'm just letting you know they're there. Stop worrying. And I was like, my heart, because I know that that's true, and I know like I don't care about the validation from it, but when there's negative validation or not validation, whatever that is, negative, and then there's like not very much other than like my friends message me, but not like strangers, the way that it's strangers being mean to me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was just a whole thing. And then I watched her program last night, the end of the year one, and it was just everything I needed. And I was sitting there like watching TV because I was being depressed, and I was like, I changed the movie like 4 times. I was like, I'm not feeling this. I'm gonna try something else, and I just kept changing the movie. And then finally, I was like, why am I trying so hard to find a movie to try to like distract myself when I could just watch one of her programs, have like something uplift me, see if it hits me in like anywhere that I need to hear something right now. So I turned everything off, started watching that, and it like turned everything around. And all of a sudden, I was like feeling so good about myself and what I'm doing, and like remembering that as you grow and stuff, it does get lonely. And that's because people are not at the same level. And that's okay. Everyone wants to live their lives differently, but not a lot of people live their lives and choose the way that we live ours. And I'm okay with that. I'm way happier, I think, than I would be if I was like trying so hard to make every friendship in my life work and see people that much.
Love it.
So,
Something that comes to mind for me is really just Melanie talking about you have to be able to hold the highs and the lows, And
yes.
so that's part of that. Obviously, what we do, it's not for everyone. It's kind of what we said our first episode. That includes the men, but there could be women haters, there could be anyone that it's not
Mhm.
resonating with who have negative vibes, and you have to be able to hold that, just like she said, with the people that are also vibing. And so I love that you came back around to that, and that her post showed up exactly when you needed to hear it, to reinforce. Because so what? You know what I mean? What we
Mm-hmm.
said was we say this from our hearts and how we really feel and our own experiences, and no one can invalidate your experience. Just because they
Right.
don't agree with it doesn't mean they can invalidate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier, these are exactly the people that you don't want and you're not there for, and they also can keep moving. They don't have to take the time, you
Right.
know. Y'all can keep on moving. You don't have to watch the show if it's not resonating with you. And I think just being able to get into that place, which you brought yourself back to, like, so what? Okay, we're going to have, the haters and the negative and the men that are making the comments that I don't want to hear and things like that. But there's also, who knows who we've helped. We already know of some, but who knows
Mm-hmm.
beyond that, right? We
Right.
know just a couple, and already we're making an impact in only what, 3 4 episodes. We're
Yeah.
making a positive
It's the
impact.
very beginning. It literally takes years to get to like
Yeah.
a really stable, good place. And the other thing that I really had to remind myself, because one of the comments was like, it's not that they're intimidated, like it's usually because of the attitude of the woman that thinks that she's all that. And like, so if men are being intimidated by you, then you need to check yourself. And I was just like, if you even knew me at all, you would know that that is so far not the case. But like trying to explain that to someone like them, it's absolutely pointless. Like there's no reason to say anything, right? But
Right.
it's just like that clip is like a 1 minute look into our lives of how we think. And in that moment, we were talking about our experiences of how men have made us feel in the past. Now we don't experience that because we choose better men and we have experienced better men. It's not like we're like all men are so trash. All men do this. Like we're saying we've experienced men like this and we've experienced better. And any woman out there, you deserve the better. And we don't have to
Yes.
put up with all of this. But
Preach
we
it,
don't
girl.
have some attitude about like anything. We fully support people. We fully want everyone to be happy. We want like a beautiful life, and they aren't seeing that from 1 minute of us talking about what we've experienced in our past with negative people.
Right. They also weren't taking the time to see that, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
listen to the whole thing and you understand, if you really listen to the entire episode, you would understand the
Right.
full basis. You can't take a snippet, right, of a conversation. But again, getting into arguments, what was something my mom used to say to me that I love? Oh, I refuse to have a battle of wits with an unarmed person. Love that.
Yes.
I kept that to heart my whole life.
Yes,
Like,
I
we're just
love that.
not, we're not going to go there. There's no point in me proving what I was saying or why I was saying it's valid all the same. If you don't get it, that's on you. You need to do the introspection, right? And any man that's not intimidated by my presence or my job, like you were saying, and your intelligence and all the things, those are the ones that are welcome. The men that spoke negatively, trying to say it was you, you're the one. So I hope you're listening to the podcast again, because you're the one. You're the problem. You look in the
Yes.
mirror. Like,
Yep. Absolutely. Like, how often do you check yourself? Because he's telling us to check ourselves, but it's like we look at ourselves every day. We think
yeah,
every day, how can I be better? How did I not handle this very well? Like, every single day we are doing that and trying to
yeah,
be better. How often are they
yeah.
doing that? They're
They
online
are.
just commenting negativity on people's posts, which we would never do. We are so
Exactly.
far above that. And
Exactly.
that can't matter
Exactly.
to me.
Yeah. So you are, if you're listening to all the men that take, offense to the things that we were saying in our previous episode, it's on you. You know, Michael
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, that jump. Look in the mirror, because that's not on us. I can imagine how you treat the women, right, in your life. And that's what we're talking about. There's an issue, right, with the mindset of certain men. We didn't say all men
Yes.
and every man out there, right? But there's a mindset with people, and being a woman as we are and experiencing what we have with men with this mindset, it's very valid. They're closed minded, they're intimidated, right? They got to be alpha male. There's a lot of different ego things that go into that. And so if they're taking instant offense, well, you're the one with the ego. We don't lead anything with ego or without introspection. I introspect
Right.
every day, all day. We were just talking about my meditation room right there. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we're not for everybody. If we are for you, keep on tuning in. It's only going to get better and better each and every week,
Yeah.
but good for you. I'm proud of you for coming out of that. It's going to hurt, it's going to piss you off. It
Mm-hmm.
reminds me kind of when I was teaching Zumba at first, and I was teaching on bass. I had just taken over a popular class. That old instructor left, and I got to take over her class, and I had to share it with another woman. So I used to only teach Zumba when I first started twice a month, 2 Thursdays a month, 10 a.m. on the Air Force Base. And it was like 3 people and four, and it would like slowly start to grow. And as it slowly was getting like some seedlings, in come the haters that didn't like it, because most aerobic rooms are glass and people can see. And so people started writing comments in the box. We don't like this Zumba. They look like strippers. Why is she up there? I got a big old booty. Look, if my booty look like a stripper, I can't like I
Mm-hmm.
can't hide what I got going on back there. And the whole point of like fitness and what I loved about Zumba was embracing that sexuality, right? And that
Right.
sensuality and dancing and having fun and not caring about who looks. But people writing, taking the time to write comments. We don't like this class. She doing all the wrong things. Da 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 da. And I had gotten called out on it by administration. And I remember crying, breaking down. I was at my day job, and I remember breaking down crying. And I remember the same lady that had to call me out on it because she was the owner of the fitness studio. It was a fitness studio contracted on base, so it had to go through her. And she's like, you know what, though? Like, this is a formality. I have to because you had the complaints, but screw them type of thing. Like, go out there and do you and be better and bigger, you know? But this was just formal. Don't let it get to you, kind of little pep talk. And I took that to heart and I did. And I blew up, you know,
Yeah.
within Zumba. It really, really just spiraled and became a totally different thing. But I could have also been broken and been like, I'm just going to give up.
Yep.
The men don't like it. The women don't like it because their men look it right and all the things. And I could have just been torn down by the complaints. They took their time to hate on and put their comments, which is kind of what we're getting right now, right? With the people want to take time to leave a nasty comment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we could let that break us down, or we could just get stronger and grow like
Yeah.
wildfire, you know?
Absolutely. And the big thing for me is also like I handled that so much better than I would have when I first started posting because I used to get mad. I used to like do a response video to their comment and like just not say anything but let everyone else say things in the comments and like because it was so hard for me to be like to allow people to be so loudly so wrong. And I wanted to like try to prove something to them. But now there's like nothing that I need to prove. There's nothing and like the fact that I've gone through this before, it's like the pineapple story of planting the seeds. In fact, I was going to play that. I'm going to play it so people know what we're talking about because it's like made such a profound impact on my mindset that I feel like we should play. We can't share just the audio on here, so I'm going to try to play it from my phone and hopefully the sound is fine.
All right.
Let me find it. Okay. Nope. Okay.
Pineapples take 18 months to grow.
Do you hear it?
One pineapple per plant at a time. Once it's ready to be picked, the same plant can produce a second pineapple. This one will take 1 year to grow. Once the pineapple plant has birthed 2 pineapples, it's then uprooted and a new seed is planted in its place. It takes longer to create a pineapple than a human baby. In fact, up to twice as long. We often question the timing of the universe. We even give up on our dreams because they don't seem to come to fruition as fast as we believe they should. But what if we chose to trust that everything in our life has a perfectly aligned harvest time? That we can't see what's growing in the crops beneath us, but magic is happening. That Mother Nature, God, the universe, they have heard us. They received the seed. That the mindset we water our thoughts with and the rays of sun and hope that warm our hearts and dreams are strengthening us and aligning us with the people, the places, and the circumstances we desire. I believe the life we create is an ecosystem and everything has a place and purpose. Some things regenerate quicker than others. Some operate on a different timing. If you've been feeling worried that your dreams aren't manifesting as quickly as you desire, please remember that the fruits of your labor are on the way. You planted those seeds however long ago, and golden fruits with crowns are worth being patient for. Pineapple season is coming.
I love that so much. Every time I hear it, it makes me just feel so good. I got a tattoo for the pineapple. Did I show you I got the tattoo? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that at my friend's wedding, and I didn't want it on my wrist. I wanted it on my ankle, but she couldn't do anything below the waist. And I am so happy that I got that on my wrist because, like, I'll be driving and it's right in front of me, or I'm sitting on my phone and it's right in front of me. It's a constant reminder that every single small thing you do, because sometimes, like, it has been a year that I have been working really hard on myself, and I didn't see like a ton. I'm not making a bunch of money. I'm not like blowing up anywhere, but I'm better. I am handling things better. Like, and so all of that I experienced yesterday, of all the things, like feeling less connected to friends and having negative comments that used to just like make me so mad, that now it's just like I can handle it better because of all the times I kept posting, all the times I kept doing it. And I've grown and learned how to be this version of myself handling the same thing. It just is different. So I think of that story 100 times a day. It makes me feel so much better. It helps my mindset. And if I'm like sitting there having a hard time getting myself to get up and do anything, I think about that. And I'm like, if I get up and do one thing, it's a seed. And someday, all of those seeds, because I have planted a lot of seeds in this last year. And someday
Yes.
I'm going to have this huge, beautiful freaking life that I built. And I'm just so excited about it.
Yes, you are. It's all about reaping and sowing, which I grew up in the church and they talk about that a lot, like reaping and sowing. And I don't, like, I'm not super religious, but I'm very spiritual, I like to say nowadays, meaning
Mm-hmm.
the aspect is still there. I just don't go to church. I'm not in the building and doing all the church things, but that was part of the Bible. I've actually even taken up to kind of reading the Bible again. I've read it before. I've read the Quran and a couple of spiritual books. I wanted to read it again and kind of retake it back in from a different perspective and at a different age and with a different lens,
Yeah.
especially more by choice. I think growing up in the church, it's more indoctrinated. So not quite as voluntary, versus picking it up now. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just something that they talk about a lot, the reaping and the sowing. So sow those seeds. You've got to sow them all the time. Well,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, even to take that a little bit further, what I'm going to say is you are sowing seeds regardless. It's just a matter of, are you intentional with it, for one? And two, are they good or bad? What kind of seeds, right? So if you're not intentional and you're maybe like this awful type of person, you're putting bad seeds out all the time and you wonder why bad keeps coming back, kind of thing. Well, you're always sowing those seeds and you keep reaping the bad fruit and you wonder why. And those are the people with really bad frequencies that you run into, or just have an awful type of life, the person that's always complaining and things like that. Or I don't know if you've ever just been around someone and you can feel like
Yeah.
their energy is just off, like, oh, they
Yeah.
are not the jam. Like,
I feel like that a
oh,
lot
you
more now
feel.
than I used to. It's hard for me
Yeah.
to be around a lot of people.
Yes, because you can feel it
Mm-hmm.
physically. And so, yeah, and that's how I would kind of look at it now, is you're always sewing, but doing it intentionally with
Yes.
positive behind that and goodness behind that. You're creating exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So you're bound to reap them. They're seeds. They're going to grow,
Mm-hmm.
regardless. But now you're doing it with all the intent and the beauty, right, and the harmony and the peace and the love that they deserve to have with them. So you're only going to get that back tenfold,
Yeah.
you know?
I love that. It fills my heart. It makes me happy. I think that we've really done a lot. We've come so far. And what do you think is like the biggest thing that you have changed in your life that's like helped your mindset?
Um, Before I really kind of even go into that, what is mindset to you? Or I can go first, but what do you think mindset is? How do you view mindset?
I view it as like how you view the world, how you view yourself, how you view other people, how you want, like, do you want to change your life? Do you want to just live a comfortable life? Do you want, like, the way that you view the world and the way that you live in the world? Like, just all of that put together. What do you
I like
think?
that. Yeah, that's a vibe. Similar, pretty similar. Really, I guess mindset to me at its deepest core is how you feel about yourself and how well you know yourself really intimately. That might sound super simple.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
I know myself. Oh, right. I love myself. Like, it's easy for people to say that and think they know. But do you, and are you being honest? Because my mindset obviously was different when I felt differently about myself. And
Yeah.
depending, right, how honest I was with myself, because that's going to affect how you treat people. It's going to affect how you view the world. It's going to affect how you talk, how you think, right? All the things is really, what do you think? Really shitty people that feel shitty inside do really shitty things, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how they actually, and that's what they always teach you, and what we kind of know. Oh, if you're judging people, what's the first thing they say? That's how you feel about yourself, right? The second you
Yep.
go to judge somebody, introspect, because you're really feeling that inside. And
Yes.
so that to me, is mindset. It's both of what we said, but just in a little bit of a different lens. Like, how do
Mm-hmm.
you really, really know, and are you being honest, right? Because what I've learned is a lot of people don't love themselves and don't feel good about themselves. They might
Yep.
have a mask on, like they do. They'd be good at pretending, right? But they don't. You wouldn't have bullies, and right, you wouldn't have these crappy type of people out there if they felt good the way that they, and there's bullies as adults.
Yep.
Young bullies sometimes grow up and be adult bullies and bully you in a different way. And so, yeah, it's like you really, and to answer your question, what's changed my mindset? It was changing how I felt about myself.
Yep.
I had to change that.
That's the first thing I was going to say too. That was my answer. Like, it starts with yourself.
Yes, yes. How did Nikki feel about Nikki? Truly, when she's alone, when no one else is there, in the dark, right? With your inner thoughts and all the things, it's like, how do I feel? And if it's not that great, how can I work on those parts
Mm-hmm.
that don't feel that great, so that I can hold myself in a higher regard? And then all that does is radiate outwards. The better I feel about me, the more I love me, the more that can radiate
Yep.
outward. There's a saying, hurt people hurt people. Again, that's, you get all hurt, you're thinking one way inside, you're feeling victimized. There's a lot of different ways you can view yourself that affect your lens on the world and that mindset on the world. And so a lot of the things that we talk about, Brittany, it starts with you. Look at you, work on you, try to love you, which I didn't know was so hard for people,
Yeah.
you know?
It used to be
I
very
didn't
hard
know.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
I That's the biggest thing that makes the like my life changed when I started loving myself. And
Yes.
there's like a lot of things you can do for, like, people talk about self-love and they think like take yourself to do something like on a date or something however often or
Right.
whatever, but like for me it's every single day of my life. Like, someone told me like a week ago or something that I should focus on like spoiling myself and stuff rather than spoiling other people, and it kind of like hit me a little bit differently than I think that would hit most people. Like, that sounds like such a like kind thing and such a good thing to remind people of, but for me, I spoil myself and think about myself every single day. I don't need Christmas to come and worry about spoiling myself, because if I want something through the year, I buy it. If I need something for myself, I do it. Like, I am spoiled to the max by myself. So when it comes to like holidays and stuff, I want to spoil other people. I want other people to feel good around me because it makes me feel good to make other people feel good. And that's another way of
Yes.
spoiling myself. So
Yes.
it's like you really just have to do things every day. And for me, like, my kids are teenagers. They still go to bed at 8 o'clock, and they're not going up there to sleep. They're going up there
Mm-hmm.
because we need to have time to ourselves. They need it as much as I do. They will do their art or read or be on their phone or whatever the heck they want to do. And I
Mm-hmm.
watch a one of Melanie Ann Layer's videos, which by the way, that pineapple story was Melanie Ann Layer. I don't think I said that. And I do things like I read my book and I do face masks and I like just do things that really fill me up at night. I spend that time really doing that every single day. And that's not something that you can do just once in a while in order to feel better. It has to be part of your routine, part of your life, loving yourself the same way when you're in a relationship, you put effort into loving that person. You put effort
Yeah.
into knowing them, into making them feel
Yes.
good. Like you have to know yourself. And I see all these people who are always with other friends or out doing stuff and stuff. And I'm like, when do you have time to sit and know yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you do. And I think that I would feel like a broken version of myself if I went back to living that way. And I can't do it.
Love it. Being, I don't know if it's more because I'm an introvert or if it's because I'm a projector, what aspect it actually comes from, but I super value that time. And so I'm glad you're looking at that through a different lens because overfilling, again, but I'm not an extrovert. Maybe if I were, I'd feel different, you know? So I
Exactly.
am kind of putting that disclaimer. But I know for me, like overfilling my time with people, places, and things draining. Like you gotta balance it. I have to make
Mm-hmm.
sure for me, like what keeps my mindset is making sure I'm okay. I like the fact that you brought up that people are like, they'll give that generic, like, oh, have a spa day, or, you know, like you said, take yourself on a date, or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
these things. And that's fine. I'm not saying those are bad things, but to me, they're very surface level. It doesn't go
Exactly.
deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
That me having a spa day doesn't necessarily change how I feel about me on the inside. It doesn't change the things that happened to me as a child that made me feel like a victim, that changed my mindset, right? It
Yep.
doesn't change those things. It's so superficial and surface level. So it's like, yeah, I feel good and do those things, but to really change your mindset, to really craft and create who you want to be, especially if you're not that happy, or especially if you're in a situation that's not filling your cup, look within, go within. That for me is everything. And I have to. Days I don't meditate because I meditate daily. So if I start skipping it, I feel it, you
Yeah.
know. Like I definitely, for me, that's what works for me personally, you
Mm-hmm.
know, is kind of going within. But I would recommend to anyone out there, see what's going to work for you, but don't keep it so surface. If you feel like, again, I was very different. I used to be a lot meaner and a lot more, you know, of a
Mm-hmm.
different type of person
You
than I
were a
was. And
fireball.
so I was
I've
like,
seen some
called out,
things.
right? But that's part of how you feel. I've had to do a lot of work. And for me, it's like reading self care. I like self care books. For me, that's where my journey started. A lot of it was self care books, especially when you deal with depression. I had lifelong depression, my whole, as far as I can remember, depressed, right? And so I really had to get at the root of what was causing that, you know. And that for me is how I started to change my mindset, getting at the root. Not like, oh, let's do a facial and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna feel great. That, like, again, I'm not discrediting. It's fine.
Right.
And you should definitely pamper yourself. And I do love to be pampered. But for me to actually change, for me to actually feel better, for me to really attack the beast that is depression, because it doesn't just go away. It's not like magic wand, you don't outgrow it. You know, you don't just wake up one day and you're not depressed. You have to really do something about it, you know. And so for me it was getting at the root. Why? What's causing this depression? How do I feel about me? What's causing me to feel that way about me, right? And really digging in deep, and some of that can be painful, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I think there's a time to open Pandora's box and a time to not. You know, I was just talking to my daughter over the holidays, and I told her, I'm like, I think it's time to close Pandora's box for her personally. You know, Kaye, and you
Yeah.
know her struggles. And so it's like she wants to keep ripping open the traumas of her past.
Oh,
And
yeah.
at this point, I just don't think it's doing her any good. So there, right, there's a balance, and it depends on what you're doing and who you are. Obviously, it's not like a one size fits all, you know. But in her case, Britt, I'm like, I think you should maybe stop, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and look at some positive reinforcement. You don't need to
Yes.
relive trauma like only so much, you
I
know?
love that you said that because I've been feeling that way about some people in my life lately too, who sometimes you've just been through so much trauma that if you really just sit and focus on healing that trauma, like that is hard. It can take you to a very dark and difficult place to live in. And it's good. You can't just ignore your trauma, but you've got to add positivity and good things. You've got to try to balance it. If it's too
Yes.
much of one thing, just like if I live so much in like la la land of everything is perfect and nothing goes wrong, then I'm not paying attention to what's happening in the world. I'm not paying attention to the realities of my life because it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I have so much gratitude and so much like I romanticize my life like crazy. Like I'm living in a freaking movie. Like I can be sitting on my chair looking around my room and like have like a candle on that just smells so good and like the lights of my Christmas tree are on and like just all of these things that are so beautiful and I can like get emotional about it because I'm so grateful for how I'm living in that moment and I literally feel that way every single day a few times a day. I take in everything so deeply and I love that you said that like some people just aren't like extroverts. They are more filled up when they go out. Like maybe that's what they need. And that's fine. We're all different. I also think some people, like how you mentioned, it's like a surface level thing when you go and like have a spa day or when you're hanging out with friends or like some people are just more surface level. They don't want to sit and have deep conversations the way that we do. Like, I don't think people would understand really that we started this podcast because when me and you were together, this is how we talk. This is not like we're trying to talk like this for a podcast. This is what it's like when we sit and hang out together. We talk like this, we have deep conversations, we fill each other up, and some people just talk about
Yeah.
the very basics of their life and they don't get deep ever about anything and they're happy that way.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel like an empty shell of myself. I can't live that way. So everyone's different, everyone has different things. And there's been times where I'm like so comfortable in my routine and like watching movies and hanging out with my kids. And I'm like, why do I need to work so hard and do all of these things to pull myself out of it when this is a happy life? But then you live like that for a while and I start feeling drained and I start feeling more empty and I don't feel as happy with myself. And it's just become something that I need.
Yes, I love that you said that you feel, right? I feel abundant every day because I think that's one of the key factors too, is really feeling it. That if you are
Mm-hmm.
wanting to go deeper, I like the fact that you said some people aren't, which I'll speak a little bit more in a second. But if you are the type that's like, I want to go deeper, you got to tap right into feeling, is what Brittany said. She didn't say, I just look at my candle and that's nice, but I'm actually thinking about the next best thing and the candle is not good enough, or right. She didn't say
Mm-hmm.
that. She said, I look around and I take this in and it's so in my Christmas lights and I feel it, right? And the tea in my hand, and that it really comes down to truly feeling it, not just saying it or seeing it, but not fully appreciating it, which is why I think a lot of people start to get mad at Christmas and stuff because it
Yeah.
gets so surface level stuff, right?
Yes.
Oh, yay, Kiki, I got the thing, and you're not really happy or you're still upset. You probably got the perfect gift, but you're not happy because something else is wrong, right? And that's,
Yes.
you really got to get past surface level things in life, right? And
Yep.
work to feeling and get into the core of what you're feeling. And if it's bad, that's okay. Acknowledge it, give it space, but don't live there. It's something me and
Yeah.
you always say to each other, especially when we're down, like, don't live there. That's okay. Have your down day, but staying there, that's what we're not going to do.
Right. Yeah, I love that you
So,
mentioned that about Christmas, like becoming surface level, because it's so true. People will get a gift and they'll like rip it open and like it's all about what's inside the gift. I get a gift and I'm like, this person took the time to find something
yes,
that they felt that I would
yes,
like. They wrapped this gift, they kept it
yeah,
under their tree, they put in the effort to bring it to me. They feel the excitement of me opening it and me being happy. It's like all of
yeah.
those things together. Whatever is in that, it could be a box with like a shoestring in it. And I do not
Mm-hmm.
care because they put in the effort, they put in the
Yeah.
thought. And when you
Yeah.
open gifts that way, you are so much more grateful for whatever is in it, because it's so fulfilling to have someone thinking about you.
Yes. Love it. Love that you said that. And surface level, before I forget, how you said some people are like that. It reminded me kind of dating, right? When I was in the dating scene, and it's like you're trying to get to know people, it's so hard because, especially in the dating scene, no one wants to take the time. And I used to say that to the men. I almost had it. Do you remember my templates? You remember I had like templates in the conversation? I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember. I do. I remember you sending me some of them because I'm like, I need something about this, and you would send me some. I forgot. That is a memory that was so lost in my head. It has been a long time since we've like actively been dating like we were. Oh my gosh.
I forgot about them templates just
Yeah.
because the conversations were so cookie cutter, and it's
Yeah.
like
And you
I
just
got
had
tired
your
of
answers.
rewriting.
Yeah. I remember. And I was like, I just like would edit yours. Like I just said like 500 times. But I would edit yours to change it to mine because I was like, I don't want to freaking keep writing this. It is exhausting.
Yes, yes, surface level, and then you don't get anywhere. Like that's why I started getting into those templates. You're trying to
Yeah.
get to know all these different men online, and they're asking you the same dumb stuff. Some are really annoying, some are, and it's like, okay, I just gotta conserve my energy. We got templates.
Yes. And you know what I learned through that is that the people I'm genuinely interested in, I didn't need to use something like a template.
Yes.
I didn't have that
Yes.
thought of like this again. It was like, there's very few. There's 4 guys since my, no, 5, since my divorce that I have really genuinely been interested in.
Mhm.
And each of them, we hit it off like instantly. Like I knew within 3 or 4 messages that it was going to be different. It does not take a lot. You like that connection. So now when I don't have that connection with someone, I'm not going to go through the effort of putting like the same cookie cutter responses because I already know you're not the right person. Because if you were, this conversation would be easier.
Tell it, girl. You better break down that growth.
Yeah. I am like, my standards are so freaking high, dude, because I've experienced some amazing men. And that's the thing. We talk about the bad guys that made us feel like trash, but I have had some men make me feel like a freaking queen. And I will not accept anything less. So, like, I will never get on Tinder again because I am not putting my energy into all of those low level people. I'm just not doing it. Did I tell you about the guy that texted me like 3 weeks ago that I hadn't talked to in 2 years?
Mm-mm.
Girl. So 2 years, well, I guess it was maybe closer to 3 years, between 2 and 3 years ago. I dated a little bit, like, I think only 2 guys, I think that I actually saw. And this one, we hung out one night and we talked. He talked a lot. I didn't talk a lot. We had dinner and then we like kissed a little bit and then he left. And he definitely was upset that I stopped it at kissing and that he left. Mm-hmm. And then neither of us text each other again. That was just it. And you know, sometimes that happens. Neither of you are interested in, cool, move on. That is the last time I have talked. I have not talked to him once since we met. And he texts me 2 or 3 years later, however long it's been, a couple weeks ago, and was like asking how I'm doing and asking if I'm single. And I was like, why are you texting me? Like, we didn't even text each other when we met. We are not interested in each other. And then I thought for a second, because I am not currently like actively seeing anyone, I was like, maybe he's changed like I've changed because I'm not the same person. I wouldn't have given him the time of day back then. Maybe he's different, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have, we would text each other like a couple texts back and forth. And then he was like, I don't fully remember, like, I remember meeting you. I remember what we did. I don't remember like what our conversations were, what exactly happened. And I was like, we just talked about like normal life stuff. We kissed a little bit and then you left. Do you know what this man said to me? Well, maybe we should have had sex. Then I bet we would have talked again.
Wow.
And I literally said to him, the fact that you just said that is why we didn't have sex. Like,
tell it.
And then we just haven't talked again. I'm just like, I gave you another chance. No.
Wow.
I cannot believe that this is the type of man I was even considering back then. Like, get out.
Wow.
Yes. It is gross. Years later too, and that's what you're gonna say to me? Like,
Seriously, like get out my face right now. No. And were you supposed to swoon with that? Oh my god.
yeah,
You're
I'm
right.
not doing that again.
Yes.
So I
Like
have to
what?
just meet.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, let's have
Like,
sex now. Like
oh,
how did
this
he
time, yeah,
expect you to?
you're right. Let's get together. Let's have sex because then we'll keep talking and then it'll be great and we'll have some amazing relationship. And then, oh, it was just so ridiculous. And then he's talking to me and he's like, I could tell he was trying to like be interested in dating. And I was just like, we already have met and we weren't interested. Like, we already know. And he's just like, well, yeah, but sometimes things just take time and you have to work up to it. And I'm like, not for me. Like, have you never
Tell
ever
it.
experienced when you meet someone and you like connect right away and it's like amazing? And he's like, well, that's just super rare and it's usually very superficial. No, it's not. You're just not at a level where you can do that and meet the right person. Like,
Right. No, dude.
girl,
No.
I
Maybe
cannot
you're a
believe
superficial
I'm still
dude.
single. I cannot believe I have to deal with this still. Like, whenever I decide to date again, I'm gonna live that life again, and I do not want to. I'm fine being single. I really am. I even like, I think about the timeline for myself. I don't want, especially after Christmas, I am like very much further away from wanting to be in a relationship unless it's the right person. And
Yes.
it's because my brother was here for Christmas, obviously, because I live with him. And I love my brother. I love spending time with him. But Christmas is a very special day with me and my kids. And I do all of these things, and they get to be themselves and not worry about like outside people. And I make sure that my family doesn't visit on Christmas. I make sure to plan other days for that because it's special. And my brother came down for like while we were doing Fear Factor and like the games and stuff, and it just wasn't the same to me. Like, it was amazing, it was so much fun, but I just have a lot, my relationship with my kids is just not typical, it's not normal, it's very deep and very good. And so the thought of having a man who would be in our space like that all of the time, like, he has to be perfect. I don't want that being like, it is, my time with my kids is special.
Yes.
It's not going to last forever. So I think about like, I don't think I'm going to be ready to actually date until Addison, my youngest, is at least 16. I feel like once they're both driving, they like have their own lives more, they'll be going out, then maybe.
Mhm.
But until then, unless
Yeah.
it's someone great that I just happen to meet, it's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
It's years away. She's only 12 right now. That's 4 years from now. So I am in like the least of
Yeah.
a hurry to be in a relationship of like anyone. I don't want to change my life. It scares me.
Love it. Well, you've worked hard to really cultivate a good, deep relationship with your girls. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like, why would you want to jeopardize that? You know,
Yeah.
for who? Like, what? Especially if it didn't work out and he wasn't like the right fit.
Oh,
And then you had him all up in your space and your
that would
energy.
destroy me.
No,
When I
no.
dated the guy that lived in St. George, he met them very quickly because he lived in St. George. So we could only like really see each other with our kids because he had his daughter with him.
Hmm.
And I didn't want them to know we were dating. We said we were just friends, and he freaking kissed me while they like went into a bounce house and they came out and
Hmm.
saw him kiss me, so they
Oh,
knew. I was so upset. And Addison, at
right.
the time, Addison was like 5. She was little. And she
Hmm.
ran up to him and jumped up and started having him hold her. And like, it was like instantly, that's her dad.
Yeah.
That's how
And you're
she
like, no.
viewed that. And it was
Hmm.
absolutely devastating for me when that ended. He, within a month, told me he loved me. He told my kids he wanted to marry me
Oh,
within 1 month, dude.
yeah.
And then I went to see him in St. George. This is actually for the dating episode we do, but whatever. Went to see him in St. George, and he, I'll tell that whole story another time, but I came back and he ghosted me. And I've never been more upset. Well, that's not true. The other one was worse, but at the time I had not been more upset. and I had to tell my kids, and Addison would just cry. Both of them, they would just cry, and they would be like, "Why can't he be in our life? Why?" And I told them the reason was because he lived too
Oh,
far, and it was too hard. Because I'm not going to tell them really. And they're like,
right.
"Why can't we move to St. George? Why can't we?" And then I was
Oh,
talking one day about like in the future, at what point do you want to meet someone? And Haley is like, right away, if we don't get along with someone, why would you want to put any time into that relationship? But Addison was like, I don't want to meet them until
what?
you're engaged because I don't want to be hurt like this again. My heart
Oh,
shattered. So now, so like, I think I'm more cautious now about
yeah,
like, I don't want anyone around us or in our space at all. Like, once they're 16, they're old enough to understand that, like, that's how dating is. But their dad, he started dating someone a couple months after we separated, not even divorced, and lived with them right away. And he ended up marrying her. He's still with her. And so to my kids, as soon as they see a relationship, that's the one because that's what their
yep,
dad did. And that's
yeah,
not how reality is. And I try to talk to them about
right.
that. I've told them I've seen other guys. I just won't let them meet anyone unless it's like special.
Love it. I was like that with my boys too. Like, you just got to protect that space. Obviously, there's moms who don't and women who don't. But for me, when my boys were still young and in the house, and I was divorced and in the dating scene, I'm like, no, you know, you're not coming home. You're not meeting my sons, type of thing. Like, this has to be 100% away from them.
Yeah.
And the few guys that they did meet when it didn't work out, it does suck even
Mm-hmm.
when they're older, honestly. But at any age, it sucks if you finally introduce and then that's not the one,
Yeah.
and you're like, it just wasn't fun for me. And so I tried my best, especially after I had some that they did get to me and then it didn't work out. I'm like, I'm really gonna be extra careful before they keep meeting someone because this is for
Yeah.
the birds,
It is. It makes me feel really good. There's been a couple of circumstances where they've met people but had no idea that I was seeing them. And
Mm-hmm.
it was um for I keep wanting to say their names, it's hard not to, but the person who owned a clothing company that I was seeing for so long, situationship, um he did like lives all the time. It was on like selling clothes and stuff. So they knew him as the person who sells clothes. So he knew like they knew I would get clothes from him. And so a few times in passing they met him if he was like picking something up from me or something. And I've had someone else who has met them like in a similar type of way. And it just feels really good to be able to see how they interact with your kids and to like kind of understand that without it being any pressure, without the kids knowing anything. And they're usually suspicious. Like if I was to have someone meet someone like, this is my friend, they would know. They're not stupid. But the circumstances that I'm referring to, it very much, they did not think that it was someone I was dating. So the last one, the way that he talks about my kids and views my kids feels like the way that I view my kids and talk about them.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have no idea that this is someone that I was seeing,
Mm-hmm.
but it felt that good. Like it just gives me hope. A lot of people, they'll see things like that don't work out like that and get sad about it and be like, there was so much possibility and it's not happening. Or like you see other people being successful when you're trying so hard and nothing's happening, and they take that and
Mm-hmm.
you makes them feel bad. But every single thing like that to me is evidence, and that's just how I view everything. Like that, it sucks, yeah, to not have that have worked out, but it's evidence that something can be so beautiful, and it gives me so much
Yes.
hope, and I love
Yes.
that.
Yes. Love, love, love that. Yay. What else
Yeah.
we got going on? Anything else on
um
mindset?
I feel like there's a lot. I think I'll have to like move it into part of another episode because there's a lot of things that I do to help myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like your word is law, doing things every like staying in the consistency and like just a lot of things that have really changed my life, planning my days. And um I think especially the biggest thing like we talked about is loving yourself. And I think there's so much to talk about that goes into loving yourself that that's just a whole other thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that we're at like a good point for today. I think it's like an introduction to it, but there's just so much more that we could say. Um,
Love it.
do you have anything else on mindset?
No, I think that's mostly it without getting, like you said, into kind of
Yeah.
another topic with it
Yeah.
on mindset itself. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah. So, it is the end of the year. So, talking about like how we what we do for New Year's and stuff, I think that I have learned to do things differently than how most people do. Like most people on New Year's, they're thinking about like, what's my resolution? What's like, they're it's all focused on next year. How you want the next year to be? All of that. And I don't do that. I don't start thinking about my next year until January 1st. Like when it's the new year, I start and I take my time. It takes me a couple weeks to get through everything that I want to do and plan out, which we'll talk about later. Um, but for me, the end of the year and New Year is a chance to reflect on my year because it is
Mm-hmm.
so easy to get caught up and like move into another year, move into another month, move into whatever, and not take the time to really appreciate what you've
Yeah.
experienced. And I
Yes.
didn't realize how big of an impact that made until this year. I learned about a new way of planning my months where you write out like everything you want to do on sticky notes, put it on a calendar, and as you do them, you pull it off the calendar. So the goal is to have like a blank calendar at the end. And anything that you don't finish, you just move on to the next month, just move the sticky note. And so I
Mm-hmm.
started doing that, and then at the end of the month, you do a celebration. You like pull out your sticky notes, see everything you accomplished. You go back and you look at your camera roll for the month. You look at your calendar for that month. And like you actually see what you did in a month. And I'm telling you, Nikki, it changed everything for me because I would have a month and be like, I didn't accomplish anything this month. It was horrible. Like, on to the next, moving on, gotta do better. And then I'll do that and I'll look at my experiences that I had just that month and it will change. And I'll like have this big I'm in a group where we all do that. And so we all talk about our experiences every month and I'll have like this big long post about how incredible my month was. When I started that, I had nothing to say. And it's because I took the time to reflect on it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a month. Like we just experienced this month. It's not like you forget everything. So imagine a year like I haven't done this yet. I'm going to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at my calendar for every month. I'm going to write down every single accomplishment that I had. I'm going to look at my pictures. I'm going to like do everything and completely write down everything I learned each month of the year and go through and do that. And I think it'll be like powerful. So I'm very excited. That's how I'm
Ooh.
spending my tomorrow. And then Monday, I'll move on to what I want the next year to be like.
Ooh, very nice. I am big, which you know, but I'll tell the people. But right now, towards the end of the year, I'm just really big into like self work and that introspection that we keep talking about. I've done a lot of work and I got so far, but then when I hit all the struggles that I hit this year, I realized I still got a lot of work left to do, you know, to get to where I want to be and to fully be the person, right? And be fully in alignment. So I'm excited. You know, the new year for me is full of all kinds of workshops and, you know, to dos. I just did my human design with Morgan. We did that last Saturday for
Did you
business.
love it?
Oh my
Oh,
goodness, y'all. We're going to have Morgan on here as a guest soon. She's going
next
to be our
week,
very
right? Is
first
that
guest.
next week? Yeah.
The 6th is our recording. Yeah, y'all
Yeah,
don't get to
next
see it on the
week.
6th.
Yeah.
We're recording on the
So our
6th.
next one we'll have a guest. We're so excited. So yeah, we'll talk deeper about your business thing and I can talk about mine, but love that you did that. I can't wait to hear about it.
Juicy, super juicy. So that's kind of what I like. Some of the things you said. I'm gonna steal a couple of things from what you do, but mostly I always do it on full moons, and I'm looking to do it at the end of the year. I'm a
Mm,
magical type of person. I like to say a little spell, couple words, and I send water out every full moon, and I let it get charged with the power of the full moon. So I keep moon water
I
always around,
love
and so
that.
I'll wash my hands with like salt and moon water, just kind of get rid of the old energies and things like that. So, looking to do that again. I don't think I have. Yeah, I didn't sit out. We just had a full moon. and I didn't set out more water. So I'm running out. I don't have as much. I can't like fully wash my hands or nothing.
Yeah.
I got a little bit. So that's going to be part of my kind of preparing for next year is just like getting off that old energy, saying a little
Yeah.
spell for myself, reading my tarot. My
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend and I like to read tarot for the whole year. And then we remind ourselves every month and we pull
Yeah.
up the card and we'll paste it on the calendar. Okay, what did this month's card say at the beginning of the year and how does that reflect, right? What's happening? So I really like that. It helps me to direct and guide my energy, especially if I'm struggling. I can kind of look back to those
Mm-hmm.
tarots and say, oh, it was kind of talking about that this
Yeah.
month, you
Me
know, and how
too.
can I handle things different?
I do that too. I've usually done it with you. We always do that. And this year we can't. It makes me
That's where
sad,
Jensen got
but
the idea. He's
yeah.
like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to doing it.
I get so happy when it's the new year. We get so once you're back, we should probably do like maybe not a year one because it'll be a few months in, but like some big tarot reading. We'll look it up. We'll find a big
Yeah.
spread and do something big, but because it's just
Yeah.
so fulfilling to sit and it like just makes us think so deeply and talk about it. And you
Yeah.
see things about my cards that I don't see in myself, and I love
Mm-hmm.
doing them with you. So
Yeah.
love that you
I
guys do
like
that.
reading them together. That's one of
Yeah.
our favorite. We didn't get to do that this last time, huh?
No, I think we did. Let me look at my year
We didn't
picture.
read. I think we wanted to read, but we didn't get to.
Maybe I remember the last
I
time
don't
we
think we
wanted to, we
did.
didn't do it, but I don't think that was the year one. I saved the picture in one of my albums.
Remember, we were
Here it
all gonna
is.
have that night with Aaron. I think we were gonna do it that night.
Yeah.
I
This
know we
is okay,
planned
that's a
on it.
different one. I have the picture. Oh, here it is. April 23rd, 2022. Oh yeah, so we didn't do it this year. Yeah, this one is
Yeah,
just mine.
we should have did it when I was home,
Yeah.
but
That's
it's
okay.
fine.
When you come
But
back,
I'm
we'll do
still some
one.
of your things. I like your post-it thing and your reflection thing.
Yeah, I think that's
Add that into my, you know,
that's part of Melanie's program that you're about to do. Is
nice,
so I think you'll learn about that like
nice.
more deeply.
I like it.
Yeah,
And juicing that
exciting.
up, and then what else? Oh, what we did do on the last full moon is we went on a drive. I'm an Aquarius. You'll probably hear me saying that a lot, but I'm connected to water, and water really just does things for me. And so the last full moon of the year, which was Tuesday or Wednesday, I forget which day, we went out across Lake Pontchartrain, which is here. It's a huge lake right outside of New Orleans, and a bridge 30 miles long. It's like almost 30, like 25 mile of just bridge out
Oh,
over this lake. So that's how big the lake is. Yeah, and we
Haley would
just did
not
it
let
out
me drive
there,
over
and
that.
Jensen's dad drove, and it was so nice. And the full moon was just reflecting down on the water.
Ooh.
And so we just drove out there, and for like 25 miles, I just took in the essence of the moon and the water as we drove across, and like all its power. It was super magical,
I
really
love
nice.
that. I have a question about because I always hear about
Yeah.
charging things with the moon and stuff, but every house I live in is
Mhm.
always facing, so I can never see the moon out my windows. Like it's on the other
Oh,
side of the houses, so I can't like put stuff on my
yeah.
windowsill. I can't do, and I'm like, I don't want to put my tarot cards outside, so it has to be like direct moonlight, right? Like if I put it on my windowsill and the moon isn't there, that's not going to do anything, right?
I mean, you're still getting the energy of the moon. The strongest is the direct moonlight, but like I leave my things out all night. That way it just gets the energy because it's in the
Mm,
sky regardless, you know, and it's in the atmosphere and it's in the ether. So you're still getting the power of it, but direct is obviously the most powerful. But if you don't
okay.
have it, do your best. Do you have it if you go outside in the front or
Um,
backyard?
Probably. I would think so. We have like a super tiny backyard, so maybe not, but I would think
Because
so.
you can
I'm
like
just
elevate it if you're like, I don't want my cards on the ground or
yeah,
something.
that's
Like
what.
sometimes I'll
Or it
just
gets so
elevate my
windy.
things.
Yeah, and it's winter, so it's gonna be like I don't know if it's gonna snow. It just makes me like I don't want to leave my stuff
Little
that means so
sketch.
much to me outside. My tarot cards, I could probably do water, but not my cards.
Do
I don't, or my
water, or you could even do it
crystals.
for a little bit. You could be like,
Oh,
hey,
that's true.
right now the sun's out for an hour in my yard. I can take it out for an hour and then bring it back in. Because some of the crystals like can be wet, so I'm a little leery sometimes if
Yeah,
it's like under rain or something because the crystals can't get wet. Like if it's
right.
quartz based, and so it'll melt the rock. So I am a little bit kind of careful, but If it's something like your water, you don't mind it being out all night, or I'll check the weather. If it's not going to rain, I'll leave the stuff out all night. But if I'm sketched, I'll
Yeah.
just put it for a little bit and then I'll bring the stuff in that can't be out
I
all
just
night.
can't imagine the devastation if my tarot cards got wet. I
Yeah.
love them so much. Like, I just can't.
Yeah.
And like
That
the
would not.
crystals, like the same, I want them to be charged and stuff because that's one of the good ways of cleansing. So I just like sage them all the time, but I'm like, I want
Nice.
to do more than that. So I don't know. I
Get
want
you
to try the
just like
moon.
an hour or something.
Yeah.
Like just find it. If it's popping in your yard, sit them out, sit them on a tray or something that's easy, like depending on how many and what you're sending. You know, I got a ton of crystals, so sometimes I got to put them all out. That way it doesn't take me forever and I'll just sit it out there and then bring the whole thing in, you know,
Yeah.
all different ways. But
That's
worst
cool.
case, yeah, put them in your window, you know, let it get the essence, open your blinds, pull your blinds up, and at least it's getting the essence of the moon, you know,
Mm-hmm.
during that night on your worst case.
Yeah. And you're also like mentally putting in that energy too. Like you're putting in the thought and the feeling behind putting it there. And like your
Like it's
energy
there, and
makes
that's
such
what
a
I
big
mean. Like
difference.
it's there anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it's in the ether. So just having your energy and your intention and then putting it in
Yeah.
your window, it's gonna connect,
Okay, I'm
you
gonna
know?
try it. The next full moon,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. The other
Yeah.
thing I do like the beginning of the year, I have to get a sound bath for sure. I need to go to
Hmm.
one. So I'm gonna do that, but I think I'm gonna wait probably a couple weeks only because next weekend is my weekend with my kids. So it's like
Hmm.
close to a month that I've had them every single day, and 2 weeks of that they didn't go to school. And the difference
Hmm.
between them going to school and not is huge. It's even though my kids are
Yeah.
older, they take care of themselves. It's a lot of energy to have them home all day, every day for close to a month. It's a
Yeah.
lot. So
Yeah.
I don't want to really go to the sound bath, I think, until I have like a weekend to myself to like recoup,
Nice.
pull myself in, and then that next week go to a sound bath. So it'll probably be a
That's a
couple
good
weeks,
idea.
but I
Hmm.
definitely have that on my list to do too.
I like it. Get into the mood and
Yeah.
just be tuned in.
Start that
But
new year right. I just
we're gonna be
remembered.
so charged up.
Yes. I just remember something I
Yeah.
did last year. It's the first time I've done it. I'm so excited about it. I'm not looking at it until tomorrow. So last year, at the beginning of the year, or I guess this year, I made a recording of myself of saying like to future me. And I'd be like, I hope that we do this and then talk about something else. I hope we do this. I hope this happens. And like just talk about all my goals. And then I saw someone else, they edited it. So like it has like the clip of me saying this is my goal, and then it shows like current me saying like that didn't happen or this happened and like saying the difference, and then go back to one of the things I said and like having a conversation with myself but past me and for current me.
Oh.
So I made that video at the beginning of this year, so I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. I have no idea what I said because I'm gonna watch it for the first time tomorrow. I wouldn't let myself watch it at all the whole year because I didn't
Yeah.
want to remember what I said. So
Yeah.
tomorrow I'm gonna make the new video and then I'm gonna edit them together. So it's me talking to myself. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna post that next
Oh,
week.
that's gonna be fly.
Yeah. I just hope I'm not
Yeah.
disappointed. What if everything I say is like none of that happened? Girl, but it's okay because even if none of it happened, I am so proud of because I didn't do as much as I wanted this year. I didn't make as many things happen, but I was having a hard time with that. But what I've realized is who I am in my soul is such a higher level than I was, and that means more than anything else. So if none of it happened, I'm fine with that. I had an amazing year. So
Yes, I love it. I can't wait to see that. I might be
yeah,
stealing that too.
do it. Make a recording on the first. Talk or after we get through all of our New Year's stuff. It takes a couple weeks because for New Year's planning, I do a lot, and it really takes me a couple weeks, and especially this year, like you're doing that program, which is a couple weeks long, right? So I think
Yeah,
it will be a couple weeks before we like really get into it. But at the end of that, that's when we should make the video for the next year. And then yeah,
I'm down.
cool. I
I
love
like
that.
it.
I'm excited to watch that tomorrow. See how it goes. I'll post it
Yeah,
on my social media.
see that
Yeah.
growth. A lot of times you don't see your own growth, so
Yeah.
that's really useful.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
because there's like an aura around us, right? Like you can see like just by the way I speak, I'm different. And I know that that'll show in the video and it's going to make me feel so good. I'm really excited
yeah.
about it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So yay.
Well, is that all the
I think
things?
so. I think next week I'm so excited to have Morgan. It's going to be so good. We just love her so much. And all of the next people that we have planned to come on, I am so excited for all of them. But yeah, next week we will have Morgan, and she is a human design coach. We'll introduce her, talk about what that means, what it is, everything, and I'm so excited about it.
Human design is amazing. If you've never heard of it, tune in. If you have heard of it, still tune in because it's amazing. Yeah. You haven't heard it like this before, so
yeah,
let's get deep. It's gonna
be a good conversation.
Really good, yeah, deep, juicy conversations, especially as we grow and do this self work. I think our conversations are only going to get better. And yeah, I just want to say I love seeing you. You always lift my spirits.
I feel the same. I was gonna say the same thing. I feel so uplifted because I guess like this is my highlight. It's talking to you and doing this, and the fact that it's being posted online, because we've been doing this for a long time. We always lift each other up like this. We always feel good when we get done, and the fact that it's like online and could potentially help other people feel like they're. I have some friends who every single time they watch the episode, they start texting me and they're like, it makes me want to talk to you. One friend in particular said it makes her want to talk to me. But other people who haven't said that also talk to me. And it makes me feel so good because it's just like conversations with more people. It's conversations that I think some people really want to hear and be a part of. And it makes me feel so good that we're doing something that feels so good and so natural and easy.
Yeah. And something that we're technically doing for ourselves, spreading the love.
Yeah. Is this, we could have 0 views every single week and it wouldn't matter to me because we have these filmed forever. If we're having a hard time, if we have times where we can't talk, then we can go back and watch, and like having this is so special to me. So it makes me very, very happy.
Yeah. And it's our time to check in and just love each other and lift each other up. And so, yeah, it's invaluable regardless. Whatever kind of week I've had, no matter how I'm feeling when I start the call, I always feel better when we leave.
Yeah.
So.
Me too. And sometimes, thank you. Sometimes we start it and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to say. I have no insight. I have no knowledge, but I just feel like it makes me realize I am naturally just at a higher level than I used to be. And I can have good conversations without planning to have them. We just talk and it just comes naturally. And that's just who we are. And the fact that that is who we are, because I think a lot of people try to do things like this, but they have to write out like, this is what we're going to talk about at this minute. This minute we're going to change to this. And like they have it planned. And that's fine. But that doesn't work for me because I get too in my head about it. And I like will have so many things that I want to say that the natural things don't come out because I'm so focused on make sure I say this and this and this. One week I did that and I was like, I'm never doing that again. I have to just have it be natural and go into it having no idea other than like the basic what we're going to talk about. But I don't really think about it because I just am naturally embodying everything that we talk about. It makes me happy.
Somebody was like, oh, Jensen's dad. He's like, I love your podcast. He listens.
Oh, that's cute. I love that.
He's like, but you got a plan. Y'all might run out of things to say. This is, every week, the rest of your life or something he was saying. And I'm like, for 1 second, but then I'm like, no, not really. Like, we're not going to run out of things to say, I understand it's like every day for however long that we, or every week, however long we decide to do it. Like, but again, that's not something that's scripted. It's not something that's like, oh, we need the hot topic or, we're just 2 girlfriends getting together to chat and uplift and sharing that out there, you know, so we'll never run out of things to say because it's us. We're going to be talking regardless and have an opinion on it and have something to say, that would help each other and help ourselves in the process.
Yeah, we will never run out of things to talk. That's why we started this, because we were doing this every week. Every week we FaceTime. We talked over an hour every single time. We don't ever get on a call and it's short. And it's just who we are. And some people, and that's the thing, like some people are very deep. Some people are not as deep. Some people, it's harder to have things to talk about. And I don't think we will ever have that problem. No, even last week, we were supposed to talk about mindset. We didn't even touch it because we're talking about other things. Like, it's just, I love it. I love who we are. I'm proud of us.
Yay. I love it. But people are liking it. My family's watching. I think my sister watched it. So,
oh, I love that.
Word's spreading. Feels good.
Yeah. Someone commented on, I did like a short clip of you talking about Coyote Ugly, and someone commented and was like, "You never told me about this, Niki." And it like made me so happy because there's so many things even I don't know about you. And like I was thinking about when we talk about divorce and we do that episode, you were there for mine. You know exactly what I experienced. I don't know very much about yours. You were already separated when I met you. So I don't know very much about your relationship or what happened, your divorce. Like there's a lot of things. So I think like I love that I get to know you more because the things that we don't necessarily want to talk about our divorce with each other, right? Like that's so far in our past.
Right.
But to have things that we are going to talk about that we normally wouldn't is super exciting to me. And I love that people in your life and in my life are getting to know things about us that they don't know. So I think that's really cool. Everyone gets to know us better.
That is. So keep tuning in because you never know.
Yeah.
We got a lot of layers.
Do. All right. Yay. And that's it.
Well, Happy New Year to you and everyone. Be safe. And we thank y'all for tuning in. And what else we got?
Yeah, I think that's it. And we'll see you next week with Morgan.
Morgan, tune in. Thank you for tuning in to, I said tune in like 1,000 times.
Just keep watching, please. Make us feel invited. That's our human design. We'll tell you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.